Hello viewers and students. So you are all aware that learning of English language is connected with various topics in English grammar. As we discussed in earlier sessions, we had a few shared a few information about the correction of errors, common errors, how we tend to make mistakes with regard to these topics in earlier sessions. You know that each and every topic of grammar is unique. It has its own role to play in learning English grammar. No topic is more important than the other. Every topic has got its own importance to play, whether it be articles, prepositions, or any part of speech for that matter. While learning each and every topic, as we have discussed earlier, as I have shared my knowledge and information regarding the usage of various other things like nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and various other things, we are here today to know something about the usage of prepositions. I will share some information, some rules and regulations to be followed with the usage of prepositions in today's session. So before we go into the session, let me share a few ideas about the passage which is given here. A small passage is given. In that passage, a few words are underlined. If you read that passage and observe the underlined words in that passage, you will understand what they are and how they are being used, and then we can discuss about them in the next slide. Read the following passage and notice the underlined words. Money is the root cause of all evils. People are united and divided with money. People are under the impression that they can do anything with money. But it's a wrong perception. If we try to crave for money and property, leaving the values to the air, ultimately we are deprived of human relations. The value and importance of a man is assessed on the basis of his love, affection, knowledge, and humanity, but not with his money alone. Too much craving for money creates a chasm between one man and the other. So we should realize that human relations among people help us lead a peaceful and happy life. A very small passage, of course. And look at the underlined words here: of, under, with, to, for, on, between, among. There are various prepositions in English language. Before we learn the usage of prepositions and the issues related to prepositions, it is also necessary to know what a preposition is and the function of a preposition, because based on the functions of the words only, the words have been divided into various parts of speech. I am here to share a few ideas about the function and usage of prepositions. Let's have a look at the information related to prepositions here. A preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun usually, and it shows the relation between noun or pronoun before which it is used and some other word in the sentence. Normally, a preposition comes before a noun or pronoun. One more point you have to remember here is a preposition can also come at the end of the sentences. For example, what are you searching for? What is it about? For is a preposition, about is a preposition. They have come at the end of the sentences, in interrogative sentences. Normally, in most of the situations, they are used before a noun or pronoun. That is one point. And another point is a preposition shows the relation between noun or pronoun before which it is used and some other word in the same sentence. That shows the function of a preposition. Every word has got its own function in a sentence. The function of a preposition is the relation here. What is the relation? Between what it is showing relation? Between the word or pronoun, noun before which it is used and some other word in the same sentence. That is how we have to understand the very function and the duty of a preposition. So here, this is what is a little information about what a preposition is and where it occurs in a sentence, because when we look at most of the students, when we observe most of the students, they don't know where a preposition comes actually. This is also a very important point to share, because where it is being used, how it is being used, what it is, what, where, and how. The questions related to each and every topic of grammar play a very important role while learning any topic in English grammar. This is why I have shared this information with you. Look at the list of some one-word prepositions. Here, I want to share another important point. Prepositions are of two kinds. We have one-word prepositions and phrase prepositions. We have a number of prepositions in English language. A list of some one-word prepositions is shown here. Another important point we have to learn here is the whole dictionary consists of various uses of prepositions. Prepositions is a very tricky area, a very complicated area, because the uses of prepositions cannot be defined or shown with a few examples as we have shown with regard to the usage of nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and other topics of grammar actually. Because the usage is such, they are used with a number of other words. That is why when we refer an Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary or any other dictionary, we find and discover a number of uses. The usage of prepositions, how they occur, how they follow, how they precede before and after a noun or pronoun. So that is one other important point. But just for the reason that it is a very complicated area, we cannot do away with that topic itself. The usage of prepositions, practice of prepositions, by reading and practicing, we can get equipped. We can gain mastery over the usage of prepositions only through practice. But prior to that practice, a few rules related to the usage of some prepositions can help you acquire mastery over them. And for that matter, I have shared here a few rules and regulations. They are not the whole rules and regulations, of course, but a few rules and regulations with the usage of some prepositions. Some important points to be shared here have been shown you on the slides here. So let's look at the prepositions of time. There are many prepositions in English like on, in, at, by, with, within, to, for, since, from, etc. There are some other, of course. These are said to be prepositions of time. Some of these prepositions can also be used for places. Prepositions of time, prepositions of places, based on the usage. Wide usage of these prepositions, they have been categorized as prepositions of time. But here, though all these prepositions are used for time, the usage of one preposition differs from the usage of another preposition. Though all of them refer to time, usage is very different. Usage varies from one preposition to the other preposition. To make it more clear, let us have some examples here with regard to each and every preposition. As an example, I have taken a very simple preposition on here. The preposition on refers to position and places. We can use in the sense of position, and we can also use it before places. For example, on the table, on the chair, on the bed, on the surface, etc. These are all, they show the position. They show the position of something before which it is being used. There is a lot of fungus on the surface of the stone. On the surface of the stone, it is showing the position where the fungus is. There's a bottle on the table. Bottle is on the table. The position of bottle on the table is shown here in that example. If we take some other usages here, on is also used before the days. For example, we talk about days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, etc. I went there on Sunday. We had a grand party on Sunday. On Monday, classes will be taken on Monday. So we can take a number of examples like this. Whenever we come across any day, day is preceded by the preposition on. And another important point we have to remember is it's also used before days. For example, on 25th July, to cite some examples, I have taken a few here. On 15/8/2020, on August 15th, on 28th February, on 12th March, we can take a number of days like this. When we want to mention the activity of anything on a specific day, before the day, we make use of the preposition on here. This is what we have to remember. And another important principle related to the usage of preposition in is shown here in another slide. In shows the position. On and in both show position, but there is a difference. In shows inside something else. It is also used and referred to the places here. In the house, in the room, in the hall, in bedroom, in the park, in the garden. When we make use of the preposition before these nouns, it indicates inside of a place. This is what we have to understand. And when we make use of the preposition in before places, like Bangalore, Hyderabad, in Bangalore. And another important point we have to remember is, earlier, in was used for big places, and whereas it was used for small places. But how to discriminate whether the place that is mentioned here in a sentence is a big or small one? We know, since Hyderabad is known to us, Bangalore is known to us, we know that it's a big place. It's a huge city. But a person living in USA or Australia or England or some other state in India, how do they know that Warangal is a big place? And that is why this variation, this rule, which was confined to usage of in for bigger places and at for small places, has been ruled out now. We can use in even for small places also. But when we make use of it, for example, he stays at LB Nagar in Hyderabad. When we make use of these two prepositions in a single sentence, we can understand that at LB Nagar, at Nagol, at Dilsukh Nagar in Hyderabad. We can understand that Hyderabad is a big place, and in that big place, Hyderabad, big city Hyderabad, LB Nagar, Dilsukh Nagar or Nagol is a small area. This is how we can also discriminate. Or we can also say he stays in Nagol in Hyderabad. Both are right. At Nagol in Hyderabad, in Nagol in Hyderabad. Both these are acceptable, of course. But to indicate that Nagol or Dilsukh Nagar or LB Nagar is a small area in a big city like Hyderabad, we can make use of at before these places. This is how we can discriminate between the usage of in and at. And in is also used before years. In 2005, in 2010, in 1990, 1995, 1998. Whenever we got freedom in 1948, 1947, Gandhiji passed away in 1948. So this is how he was born in 2010. he was born in 1995. When we make a mention of any year for that matter, we have to make use of the preposition in here. Look at at and by. Discrimination, difference between at and by. As I have already told you, many prepositions can be used for time. At can be used at and by. Both are used for time, of course, places, of course. But there is a difference in meaning, difference in usage. Once we understand the difference in meaning, we can make use of it correctly with regard to the usage. At, whenever at is used before a time, it indicates the exact time. We reached there at 8 a.m. At 8 a.m. implies exactly at 8 a.m. We woke up at 6 p.m. implies exactly at 6 p.m. They started the task at 4 p.m. implies exactly at 4 p.m. That is what we have to understand. So one point we have to remember here is when at is used before time, it means or it indicates, it implies exact time. This is a rule, this is a principle or point we have to remember with the usage of at before time. Now look at the usage of at for other places. As I have just shared some information with regard to the usage of at before places and the difference between at and in. We stopped at the entrance. Entrance is a place. There are some plants at his house. It is used before the places here. And if we want to know how by is being used, by is also used before the mentioned time, means, and method. For example, he improved his health by walking. By walking in the sense, through walking, with the mode of walking, through walking. It's a method or mode we have adopted for improving health by walking. And another point we have to remember here is when we want to indicate this usage to express the mode of activity, mode of learning something, improving something, if by is immediately followed by ing form of the verb, it indicates the mode or method of doing something, acquiring something. You can learn English by reading newspapers. You can improve English by reading newspapers. You can enrich your knowledge by referring GK books, general knowledge books. You acquire a lot of mastery over language by reading novels. You can get perfection by writing something. So this is how nin means through, by means of, method. This is what is indicated when by is followed by the ing form of the verb. You can develop knowledge by reading books. We should maintain fitness by doing exercise and eating healthy food. This is how we can indicate how method or mode is expressed by the usage of by before the ing forms of the verbs. See the difference here. I have quoted two examples here because I have already told you that both by and at and by are used for time, before time. But there's a difference, slight difference is there. See the difference here. The examination starts at 10 a.m. means exactly at 10 a.m. the examination starts. The candidates are expected to reach the venue by 9:30 a.m. Candidates should reach the venue by 9:30 a.m. It implies that when the examination starts at 10 a.m., you are supposed to reach there prior to that time, because scheduled timings are being given in the hall ticket itself. At what time you have to reach there, at what time you are allowed inside, at what time you are asked to sit in your respective places. And examination, when the examination starts at 10 a.m., you are instructed to reach there by 9:30 p.m. in the sense before 9:30 itself you are supposed to be present there. when we want to indicate or show that before time, a scheduled, before scheduled time, we make use of by here. This is what we have to understand. It is used to indicate exact time. By is used to show before time. This is what we have to understand. Though both are used for time, this is the difference between the usage of at and by. And look at another preposition, important, commonly used preposition to here. To is also used for time, place, purpose, etc. And another point we have to remember here is from and to. With the combination of from and to, when we refer to two places, two timings, from is followed by to and between is followed by and. As we discussed in the earlier sessions, we talked about the common errors with regard to the usage of other topics. Even with regard to the usage of prepositions also, we come across a number of sentences given in the examinations, in both semester end examinations and competitive examinations. With regard to the usage of from, to, between, and, when there is a reference to two timings, from is followed by to and between is followed by and. And is not a preposition, of course, but between is a preposition. But when there is a reference, we have to make use of this combination only. Look at some examples here. We were in the park from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Two timings are given here, 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. We traveled by car from Warangal to Hyderabad. Two places are given here, Hyderabad and Warangal. From to. You must work hard to compete with other candidates. Here, another point you have to remember here is to is followed by the first form of the verb compete. When to is immediately followed by the first form of the verb compete, V1 form, it indicates the purpose or intention. I joined an institute to learn new computer software. Why did you join? Why did I join the institute? To learn. Learning is my purpose. When we want to indicate the purpose or intention of something, we have to use like this. I joined an institute to learn new computer software. 2 plus V1, it is called to infinitive. To infinitive. Purpose or intention is shown when to follows the first form of the verb. And look at another important preposition, a combination, between, among. Between always refers to two. Among always refers to more than two. And with regard to common errors also, instead of between, among is used, and instead of among, between is used, and you are asked to rewrite it, correcting the underlined part. And because in common errors also we come across a number of sentences pertaining to prepositions. Look at some examples here. This point you have to remember. There is a border dispute between India and Pakistan. In this sentence, there is a reference to two countries, India and Pakistan. Since there is a reference to two countries, between is used here. Underlined word between is a preposition. Unity is needed among people. Here there is no number. There is no reference to any number, of course. But though there is no mention of any number in the sentence, we should understand that people implies more than two. The very word people is a plural noun. It seems to be singular, but plural meaning is shown here. People refers to more than two. That is why we have used among here, not between. Unity is needed among people, not between people. The land was distributed among the four sons. There is a clear-cut mention of four sons here, so we can easily identify, we can easily understand when there is a reference like this, among. Social distance should be maintained between you and I. There is a reference to you and I, two pronouns here. Since there is a reference to only two pronouns, I have used between here. So this is how we have to understand, because most of the students get confused with the usage of between and among. They are also being given in a number of competitive examinations. If you understand this principle and point, you can easily correct them based on the meaning of the sentence and mention of the nouns or pronouns in the sentence. Look at another important principle related to the usage of since and for. While discussing tenses, present perfect continuous tense in the earlier sessions, while in common errors column, I have discussed the usage of since and for. I have also given you a number of examples there. Again, as part of preposition, let us have a relook at the usage of since here and for here in this session. Since is used for the point of time. Since morning, since yesterday, since last week, since last month, last year, since 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 5 o'clock, since last Monday, since last Friday, since last May, since last January, since 2002, etc. All these are said to be, when we mention the exact time, from which time or from which day or month the work started, when we want to make use of it, we have to use since here. This is said to be the point of time. There's a misnomer here. I have written it as period of time. Of course, there's a mistake here. Typographical error has taken place here. It has been raining since morning. Look at the examples. Since morning. And they have been searching for their bag since 5 p.m. Sharada has been staying in a flat since last week. I have given 3 examples here. In these 3 examples, how since is used, you can understand. This is said to be point of time. This is how we have to understand how to use since. Since is also a conjunction. That's another usage. Here we are discussing, sharing my knowledge or information, how to use it as a preposition, not as a conjunction. There are various words, of course, like that. Some words can be used as adjectives and adverbs and prepositions and conjunctions. But I'm here to share you my information about the usage of since as a preposition. Look at for here. For is used for period of time. For example, for 2 hours, for 3 days, for 5 months, for 6 weeks, for 10 years, for a few seconds, for 1 hour, etc. All these. 2 hours is said to be a period. 3 days is said to be a period. 5 months is said to be a period. 6 weeks, 10 years, a few seconds, 1 hour, they are said to be period. When we want to make a mention like this, we have to make use of for here. And another important point you have to remember is, most of the students, most of the speakers of English language also use since here instead of for. They use like since 2 days, since 5 days, something like that. It is wrong to use. If you want a clear memory of the usage of for, try to remember the numerical numbers. If you just refer to the numerical numbers before numerical numbers, like whether it is seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. Once we come across numerical numbers, we have to make use of for here, not since. This makes it very clear. There won't be any kind of confusion. And look at some examples here. I have been waiting for an auto for 10 minutes. We have been staying in this house for the last 20 years. For the last 20 years. And our staying started 20 years ago. We are still staying in the same house. Venu has been playing volleyball for 1 hour. Venu started playing volleyball 1 hour ago, and he is still playing. Has been playing volleyball for 1 hour. So like this, we have to use for. There is no confusion here between since and for. If you look at the examples and if you remember the principle. Look at another couple of prepositions here, over and above. Both these prepositions, over and above, mean higher, higher in meaning, higher than. The kites over the buildings are very colorful. We noticed a number of kites over the houses, over the buildings, over the apartments, over the flats. You are answerable to the officer who is above you, higher officer. So over and above, both refer to higher in position, ranking, or something like that. When we want to refer to such meaning, we have to use either over and above. One more point we have to remember is there is a slight difference with regard to the usage of over and above. Over has got other meanings also. In addition to higher, over has got another meaning. Look at the other uses of over here. Over can also mean from one side to the other, on the other side, or during, etc. as a preposition. Another important point. Over can also be used as an adjective, adverb. The same word, over, can be used as a preposition, adjective, and adverb. Here, I have shared my knowledge and information regarding the usage of preposition, not as an adjective or as an adverb. Look at here. After looking at these examples, I'll tell you a few points regarding the usage of adjective and adverb. There's a bridge over the rivulet. Their village is located over the hills. Over the rivulet here implies normally bridges and dams are constructed from one bank of the river to the other bank of the river. That's how most of the students think that on is to be used, but not on here. When you go to a railway station, foot over bridge, from one compartment to the other compartment, a bridge will be constructed. So it is called as foot over bridge, not foot on. It is foot over bridge. You can observe this notice displayed very clearly in railway stations. That is why when we want to refer from one side to the other side, we have to use over, not on here. There's a bridge over the rivulet. Their village is located over the hills. Over the hills, in the sense on the other side of the hills. And we had resolved the issue over lunch, while taking lunch, during lunch. When something takes place during eating or during having tea, we discussed over tea, in the sense while taking tea or while having tea. This is how we have to understand the discrimination. This is the use of over as a preposition. As I have promised that I'll also share some information with regard to the usage of over as an adjective and adverb. Let me share some information. The dinner is over. The chapter is over. The syllabus is over. The discussion is over. In all these sentences, over is an adverb. But overeating, overwalking, overeating leads to constipation. Overeating leads to obesity. Here, over is used as an adjective because over qualifies the gerund or ing form of the verb eating, walking, words like that. Overeating, overwalking, overjumping, overdoing work leads to tiredness. Overdoing, all these are used as the ing forms of the verbs. They are said to be nouns or gerunds, and when we use over before them, it means it is used as an adjective. Okay, this is how we can discriminate between a preposition and adjective, adverb and adjective. This is what with over use of all these things through practice you can also develop a number of sentences, you can develop information and avoid any kind of confusion that you come across when you make use of the prepositions like this. Look at another couple of prepositions here. Till and until. Both till and until refer to up to a specific time. Up to that point, up to that time. Look at some examples here. We stayed there till or until dawn. We stayed there till or until dawn in the sense till up to that time, that is evening, dawn. Search until you find the lost mobile. Till you find the lost mobile. Till or until, both are acceptable here. We should not continue talking until others ask us to do. Until others ask us to do. Up to that point only we have to talk. We should not continue later, further. This is what it means here. Look at, these are all some of the rules, of course. Time constraints and space constraints don't permit us to go further with regard to the one word prepositions. We can take another session for a lengthy and detailed discussion of prepositions. Here, I have given you a list of some phrase prepositions. Abide by, abstain from, abound in, afraid of, aim at, according to, avail, reflexive pronoun. Avail is followed by reflexive pronoun like myself, himself, herself, yourselves, themselves, of. Avail followed by a reflexive pronoun, then it's followed by of. This is what we have to remember. Aware of, believe in, belong to, bereft of, consist of, crave for, die of, deal with, fond of, furnish with, give up, get over, good at, interested in, fed up with, knock at, kneel down, look at, look after, suffer from, tired of, tide over, in accordance with or in agreement with, consequent on or upon, adjacent to, concentrate on, congratulate on, superior, inferior, prior, prefer, junior, senior, elder. All these are followed by to. And here I have shared a few words, phrasal prepositions. There are countless phrasal prepositions like this to tell you that certain words, certain prepositions always go with their words, with these words. They, with regard to the usage of such words, they are also being given in correction of sentences. They are also taken for correction of sentences or common errors. As prepositions, we have to learn the usage of phrase prepositions and how they are being given for correction of sentences. As I have just given you the list of phrase prepositions, instead of, for example, junior, senior, prior, prefer, they are followed by to. Instead of to, if some other preposition is given or some other word is mentioned, it is said to be a wrong one. This is what we have to remember. If we remember this point, when they are given for corrections, we can easily rewrite them and correct them. For memory only, I have given you a list of some prepositions and how they follow, they precede some words, how these prepositions are used with those words. And after sharing some information with regard to the usage of some one-word prepositions and phrase prepositions, I have given you for practice some sentences to remind you, to recall you as to how to test you or to assess you how far you have understood here. Since it is an online mode of learning, I don't have scope for, room for questioning directly, of course. I am here to give you the questions and also explain with regard to them. Rewrite the following sentences, correcting the underlined part. This is how they are given for correction of sentences. Don't feel inferior than others. As I have just given you the list of some words, that inferior follows to, not than. Don't feel inferior to others. Than others is a wrong sentence. It's an incorrect sentence. We congratulated the girl for her wonderful performance. Congratulate is followed by on, not for. So it is a wrong sentence. We congratulated the girl on her wonderful performance. Then it becomes an accurate sentence. You must abide with rules and regulations. Abide is followed by, not with. You must abide by rules and regulations. Then it becomes a correct sentence. I am fond for fruits. Fond of, not fond for. I am fond of fruits. Villages are bereft with basic amenities. Villages are bereft of basic amenities. My brother is good in astrology. As I have shown you in the earlier slide, good at shows one's perfection in some branch of knowledge. My brother is good at astrology. He is good at mathematics. He is good at English. He is good at physics. We can make use of them like this. So this is what we have to understand, how one word prepositions and phrase prepositions are being used in oral and communication, written communication. And because while writing something, while speaking something, if we go wrong in the usage of these prepositions, as it looks very awkward. Accuracy is very important. Correctness is important while writing something, because you write a letter to collector, you write a letter to some higher officer. If you make mistakes, it is likely to create a very wrong and adverse impression on the office, on the employee. To avoid such kind of impressions, not only to avoid such kind of impressions, as speakers of English, as writers of English, as users of English, we are here to make use of English, to speak English, to write English in a correct manner. So I have shared a few ideas with regard to the usage of prepositions in this session. Let us discuss some more with detailed information in the forthcoming sessions. Thank you for giving a patient hearing to my video.